the Niners and the Philadelphia Eagles. This game here was, without a shadow of a doubt, the shocker of this weekend. The Eagles were favored by 5, and it felt like the Niners, they got shellacked in their game last Saturday for the number 1 seed and the division. And they were injured. They're going to be without Ricky Pearsall. Trent Williams didn't play. Who knows how healthy he is going to be. And the Philadelphia Eagles are at home. And historically, they play absolutely phenomenal when they are at home. But the 49ers went in and shocked the Philadelphia Eagles. I saw the Philadelphia Eagles' demise coming a long way. I did. I seen what happened yesterday coming from a mile away. But I can say, I just did not think it would be this game. I felt like that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to win this game pretty handedly. They had the better weapons. They were more healthy. Favorable advantage. You're at home. It felt like a no-brainer. If I were to bet this game and the Eagles were favored by 5, I would have definitely smashed the Eagles winning by 5 or more. But, sadly, that ultimately was not the case. The San Francisco 49ers went into Philly and shocked the world. Offensively, for the Philadelphia Eagles, it's the same story that it's been all year. They cannot play 4 full quarters of football. For some reason, I don't understand why. They play a phenomenal first half, and this is what happened in this game. The Niners get the ball first. They go down and shockingly score on Philadelphia's defense. And you're kind of sitting there like, oh my Lord, is it going to be this type of game? But the Eagles go down and score 2 touchdowns on back-to-back drives, if I remember correctly. And they got 13 points real quick. And they were giving the ball to A.J. Brown. They were running the ball relatively well with Saquon Barkley. And lo and behold comes the second half, where the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely fell apart. We can go from Jalen Hurts only throwing for 70, 75, 79 passing yards, one of the two. They only had 6 points and 119 total yards in the second half. A.J. Brown been pounding all year on the media. And in a big game where they absolutely needed him, he comes up and drops a multitude of footballs. We could do that. Him and Nick Sirianni getting to it on the sideline. He didn't speak to the media after the game. We can harp about that. And it felt as if Philly at home, playoff game, Niner team who was on their last leg, rest of starters, they were not supposed to win this game. And the Philadelphia Eagles allowed the Niners to come into their house and do a job. Jalen Hurts, he only threw for 168 yards, under 5 yards a throw, 1 touchdown, no picks, barely even ran the ball. Brock Purdy played pretty well, had 2 bad interceptions. Not the second one wasn't as bad as the first one, but he made the plays that he needed to make down the stretch. He was 18 for 31, 262 yards. Christian McCaffrey does what he does, doing it in the run game and the pass game. Demarcus Robinson showing up out of nowhere, having a big game. I think he had 111 yards receiving. George Kittle sadly goes down with a brutal Achilles injury, just adding to the Niners one of historic seasons. Like the way this Niners team and the way their season has been with all the injuries, no one remotely would have expected them to be where they are right now. And Kyle Shanahan deserves to be Coach of the Year. I know it is a regular season award, But if you're a voter voting for Coach of the Year, a team that's got 12 wins without now 4 that you can really think of their main players, your all-pro tight end, your all-pro defensive end, your all-pro linebacker. Like, all of these pieces are vital and important to your ball team. And each of these guys have endured season-ending injuries at some point in this season. And Kyle Shanahan has been able to win games. George Kittle goes down in the second quarter. He had to adjust the playbook on the fly. And the Niners played discipline. They had nowhere near the same amount of penalties as the Eagles had. They made plays and they executed when they needed to execute. And they didn't allow the Brock Purdy interceptions to negatively impact this game. And I felt like in all phases of this game, the Niners outclassed the Eagles coaching staff. And I don't even feel that it's even close. I honestly don't. I felt like Kyle Shanahan was the best coach on that field. You could tell his hand was on that team and the way they played. And we cannot say the same thing about Nick Sirianni. You had the antics on the sideline with A.J. Brown. You had the Eagles offense looking absolutely putrid in the second half. And your only saving grace is a Vic Fangio, or was your saving grace, was a Vic Fangio-led defense. And they were not good enough in this game to get you out of the dreadful waters that you were in this game and where you have been all season. I saw this coming from a mile away from Philadelphia. Maybe not in this game, but definitely in the next one. I didn't think they were going to beat the Bears. And that final play call by Kevin Patullo was pretty much the icing on the cake. You called 4 verticals on 4th and 11. And a lot of people in Philly media has been talking about this today. Talking about the lack of, what's the word I can use here? The dynamic type play calling, the inventive play calling. Because when you look at Kyle Shanahan's play calling and his concepts and play design and the way that the Eagles play design is, it's very rapidly 2 different type of play designs. And a lot of people in Eagles media and people who covered the Eagles, people who are former players, Shady McCoy said it on his podcast last night. It said that a lot of people have said that they can't run the type of offense that people want them to run because their quarterback doesn't have the intangibles and the skills to be able to run type offense. Now, I do not know how true that is. I'm not going to dip my finger in that too deep. We'll tackle that task or topic in another time or date. But it really, really questions if there is some legitimacy to that. Because on 4th and 11, Kevin Patullo calls 4 verticals. And Jalen Hurts throws it to Dallas Goedert in triple coverage. Yes, Smitty dropped a big ball in the 4th quarter. Not Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown dropped multiple in the 4th quarter. Like, huge balls. Like, game-changing passes that A.J. Brown dropped. So Dallas Goedert was pretty much the hot hand for Jalen Hurts, and he felt impelled to throw it to Dallas Goedert on the final drive. But to throw a ball to triple coverage to Dallas Goedert instead of trying to give A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith a one-on-one ball, just pretty questionable things that happened on that final drive for Philly. And their season is over. And as Adam Schefter has reported today, there are going to be a mass amount of changes coming to Philadelphia, the ball club, in the coming months. Who knows what that is? Obviously, we expect Kevin Patullo, the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, we expect him in some way, form, or fashion to be let go of his duties. Sadly, we don't wish nobody to be fired. Who knows? They got a lot of players that are going to be free agents. The Kobe Dean, Reed Blankenship, from the top of my head, Brandon Graham, Dallas Goedert. I think A.J. Brown is not going to be there next year. We'll tackle all those tasks in the coming days about A.J. Brown and things of that nature. But Philly, I saw this coming a mile away. I didn't think it was going to happen in this game, but I did think it was going to be happening at some point in the future.